In a small village, Isiho, nestled in between two villages, there lived a man whose name was Osemu. He was in his late 40s and was unmarried. To make matter worse, he was not good looking, coupled with the fact that he was not a rich man. It became difficult for Osemu to get a wife as all the women he had affections for and approached never reciprocated his love. They always told him to his face that he was unworthy to be their man. On several occasions, he was humiliated. One day, Osemu decided to get some foodstuff from the market. On getting there, he saw a very beautiful lady. Wow, this lady is so beautiful. I wish I can have her. I would adorn her and cherish her if she was to be my wife. Snapping back to reality, Osemu decided to approach the lady. Hello, beautiful, Osemu whispered, not sure if he really wanted to. But unfortunately for him, she heard him. She immediately turned and looked at Osemu with disdain. Who is this thing talking to? She shouted loudly. Everyone turned and looked at Osemu and laughed out loud, like a chorus in a congregational hymn. Osemu looked at them and said nothing. Osemu was already feeling embarrassed at this point, but the lady did not just stop there. See, when next you see a beautiful lady like me, never you dare come close because you are not my type. You should know that shoe has size and you are definitely not my size. She gave a loud hiss as she pushed him and walked away. Osemu felt the ground should open up and swallow him because he has been embarrassed on several occasions, but definitely not in the market with so much onlooker. He managed to bow his head down as he quietly walked past the crowd, laughing at him. When Osamu got home, he thought to himself, enough of this embarrassment. Never again. I did not make myself to look this way. But since no woman wants to settle with me, no woman wants to love me just the way I am tired of it and I am going to remain unmarried and happy anyway. Osemu made up his mind not to approach any woman ever again in his life. Obadan was two villages away from Isiho, where Asemota lived. He was into art and craft. He was very good at his profession, and people from far and wide often come to get his crafts. They patronized him because he was very good at artwork. Asemota was married to Ireti, a woman he married when he had traveled to the western part of the country, where he went to sell some of his artwork. Asemota was drawn by Ireti's beauty. She was dark brown in complexion with beautiful eyes and smile. Ireti, Asemota's wife, adored her husband so much that she would do whatsoever he says. She was really a submissive wife and even to a fault. Ireti did not get the best of treatment from her husband, but she loved him regardless. One day, Ireti visited Asemota at his workshop in order to give him his lunch, which was the usual habit she had been doing for over a year that they have been married. Why are you just coming now? Asemota shouted. My dear, I am sorry, but lunch is not late yet. It is 12 noon. Knowing fully well that he had eaten breakfast before leaving the house for work. Oh, because it is 12 noon, I should die of hunger, right? No, my dear, sorry for that. There was slight delay in the preparation process of the food. That is why it took my time. Ireti opened the cooler of food and served at Asemota yam porridge with vegetable. Immediately he tasted it, he screamed, this woman, you are too useless. Oh. How will you put too much vegetable? I told you, I don't want too much vegetable. I am sorry, my dear. It won't repeat itself again, she said. This was a regular habit with Asemota as he would complain about everything and anything Ireti does. Ireti was a calm woman and would most time apologize, knowing fully well she was never wrong. Just for peace to reign in the home. Asamota business prospered, and the more his business prospered, he even became worse as he would treat Ireti badly, shouting at her in public at every slightest provocation, talking down at her and making her feel inadequate as a wife. Asamota will most times come late at night, claiming that he had a lot of work to do at his workshop. Notwithstanding, Ireti would always pray for her husband, begging God to prosper him and give him a change of heart. But it seems as though the more she prayed, the worse her relationship with her husband became. Asemota was also a chronic womanizer as he would sleep with anything in skirts. One day, Ireti's friend Imade came visiting. Ireti's heart was so heavy, she decided to tell her friend what she has been going through in the hands of Asemota. I am not surprised anyway because I see the way he shouts at you at any slightest provocation, Imade said. Imade's opinion was not Ireti's problem. She needed to unpack what has been bothering her in her heart, and she felt a bit of relief because she has never discussed anything about her marriage with anyone. But this time, she was glad she did. Asemota was busy in his shop one day when three men approached him, and before he could realize, they ran away with some of his art pieces, and they were the most expensive out of all his art collections. He tried running after them, crying for help that he has been robbed, but they were gone already without any trace. This incident affected Asemota's business as it gradually went down. He began to struggle to get things back to normal. His wife Ireti would continue to encourage him and tell him that things will get better. Don't tell me that you are a bad luck. Ha! Asemota, why will you say such a thing to me? Yes, I said it. It is you. Ireti started crying because those words pierced straight to her heart. Of a truth, am I really a bad luck? Why will this happen to us? She thought to herself. Because of these words, she tried the more to please her husband and make him feel good so he would not see her as bad luck. But the more she tried, the more she failed to impress him. After the close of the day as usual, Osamu visited his friends as they hung out in a beer parlor to unwind. This was a regular ritual for him since he was unmarried to at least gist with his friends after the day's work. He was in the company of three of his friends. Two were happily married while the other one, Osahan, was unmarried just like him. But his own case was different because he had a lot of women at his beck and call and is finding it difficult to choose a wife for himself. The two happily married ones were discussing and talking about how their wife takes care of them, cook for them, clean, take care of them, mesmerize them in the other room. They spoke about how their children was going to welcome them when they return from work and the kind of food they were going to eat when they get home. Before we could realize, they diverted their discussion and attention to Osamu. You, don't you want to get married? Ah, this one, said another. Why will you say that? The other replied him. Because he isn't good looking and he is not rich. Women nowadays, they love it. Either you are good looking or you are rich. He had neither of the two. Osahon, which was single like him, said he doesn't even have a woman in his life. He is single to stupor. Suddenly, Osamu said, I have a girlfriend. I have a woman in my life. They all turned and looked at him. You have a woman? They chorus. Yes, I do. So how come we've not seen her? She doesn't live in this village. Where does she live? She lives in two villages away from here. I go to visit her from time to time. You are lying, said Osahu. Okay, let's meet her in 7 days' time so we will be sure you truly have a woman in your life. Before we could realize, they all agreed. They started laughing. Osamu started sweating profusely because he knows that he has no woman anywhere in his life. Throughout the night, Osamu could barely sleep because the thought of the way he would redeem himself from the impending laughter and mockery that will ensue if his friends finds out that he was lying. It was 3 days left for the date his friends had given him. He had no more time to waste. He quickly thought to himself, if only I can get a girl that will agree to visit me for just 2 days for my friend to see, that would really help. If it means spending the last savings that I have to just prove a point to them that I'm not also useless, he thought to himself. Quickly, he carried his bag and decided on taking a journey to 2 villages away where his friend would not be able to understand his plan. They will not be able to detect his lies after all, he thought to himself on his journey. They don't really know people from Obadan, which is 2 villages away. So if I can get a girl from there, that will make a lot of sense. As Osamu passed the streets, he saw a shop, decided to see what was being sold there. Do you want to buy any of these? Asemota questioned Osemu. No, but they are beautiful pieces, he said. But how can I help you? Asemota questioned. Sir, please, I'm looking for where they hire women, he said. Does this place look like one? At this point, Asemota was visibly angry. I need a girl I can pay for 2 days, just so she can pretend to be my woman. How? You want to borrow a woman, you mean? He asked, laughing. Yes, technically, Osamu replied. Well, here is not a place for that. But on the second thought, he said, how much will you pay her? 10K. I am willing to pay 10K. At the mention of 10K, Asemota's eyes lit up. You can have my wife. Take her. For just 2 days. But don't touch her. You know, she is my wife. Your wife? Osemu was shocked about what money can actually do. Reluctantly, he agreed to the deal. After all, it was for show off. Asemota quickly rushed home to his wife. I have a business deal for you. What is that? She questioned. You are to follow someone to the neighboring village and you will be back in 2 days. 2 days? For what? Don't ask me such question. Get your things, I said. Not asking too much question, she carried her handbag, hurried after her husband, and they went straight to his shop. When they got to his workshop, he said, here is the person, pointing to the direction of Osamu. What? Why? For what exactly? Don't worry, just follow him and you'll be back in 2 days. Immediately she said, I am not going with him. You either go with him now and come back in 2 days, or you go back home, pack your things, and never to return to my house again. At the mention of that, she grabbed her bag with tears dropping down her chin. Don't worry, I will not harm you. I just want to borrow you just for 2 days. Oh. It's for show off. Don't worry, you will be back in 2 days' time. Osemu encouraged her. At this point, Asemota was happy because he was going to be free from the shackles of Ireti disturbance and continuous bad luck, plus making 20K that he would use to boost his business. Osemu and Ireti arrived the Siho village late at night. On getting to the house, Osemu quickly prepared hot beds for Ireti. Thank you, she said. After taking her bath, he brought out food for her to eat. She ate and slept at the same spot till the next morning because she was very tired from the journey the previous day. In the morning, Osemu woke up first, prepared breakfast. Waking her up, Osemu said, breakfast is set. She was surprised, but this time did not say a word. Osemu asked her if he enjoyed the food after she finished eating, and she did not say a word again. In no time, Osemu rushed to his friends to inform them that his woman was around, that they should come and visit him. They were shocked and thought he was joking, but decided to go see for themselves. On getting to Osemu's house, they saw a very beautiful woman, They were all surprised and could not say a word. How is it possible that he was able to win the heart of such a beautiful woman? They thought to themselves. When they left his house, Osemu was filled with pride and joy that for the first time in his life, a woman was seen with him, and not just a woman, a beautiful woman at that. Not giving up, Osehon, who was single just like Osemu, decided to visit Osemu early in the morning so that he would be sure he had a woman in his life, that there was no way he would have organized for a woman as early in the morning. He got there, and to his astonishment, he met Ireti there. Ah, mouth wide open. So truly, he has a woman, he thought to himself. Not staying up to 5 minutes, he bid Osemu farewell as he went his way. When he left, Osemu hugged Ireti and thanked her so much for saving him for so much embarrassment. Why? Why will you do that? She asked him. You would not understand. Everyone believes that I am not worthy of a woman, and you have indeed removed the embarrassment off my face, he said. They all think I am ugly and poor. That's not true. You are handsome in your own way. Why will anybody even think that? This was the first time Osemu was hearing such a kind word in a long while, ever since he's lost his late mother. That day, they discussed at length. They talked about their predicament. Ireti talked about how his husband had always maltreated her just because he feels that he owns her. Ireti and Osemu found solace in each other, and before we knew, Ireti kissed Osahon. It was a rush of emotion as Osemu reciprocated. 2 days soon turned to 7 days. At this point, Asemota wondered what must have happened to Ireti. He decided to go to Isio to look for her, only to find Ireti living happily with Osemu, the ugly woman borrower. Foolish woman, what are you doing here? Pack all your things, let's go home. No, I'm not going with you, she replied. Ireti told him that there was no way she would follow him back to his house. Asemota hurriedly went back to his Siho to inform the elders that his wife has eloped with another man. As tradition demand, the elders summoned Asemota and Ireti. Getting there, they questioned Ireti if what her husband accused her of were true. Ireti explained to the elders all that has happened between herself and Asemota. Really? One of the elders said, looking at Asemota with surprise. You are a very foolish man, one of the elders added. How would you borrow your wife to another man because of money? He lacks respect for his wife. He is greedy and doesn't value what he has. The elders chorus. You must follow me back home. Oh. There is no way you would go back to that man. That ugly woman borrower. I am not going with you, Ireti told him firmly. The elders watched both of them as they exchanged words. Asemota, there is no way she would come back to you except she performs some rituals which you know, or do you want to die? You know how it is done in our tradition. Since Ireti was already intimate with another man, there was no way she could freely go back to her husband, Asemota, except some traditional rituals were performed on her, but she was unwilling to go through the rituals as she was no longer interested in the marriage. However, Ireti's bride price was returned by her family. Thank you for listening to this story. Hope you've learned some valuable lessons from it. Do let me know what you've learned in the comment section. I will be there to reply you. Have you subscribed to this channel? If you haven't done so already, kindly subscribe, turn on the bell notification button so you get notified when I post a new video. Like this video, do not forget to share this video to your loved ones. And for now, it is bye from me.